Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Chris Erlanson with Nashville Flight Training. Great to see everybody today uh, with migration. Really excited to see all the things coming up and see the different panels. And today, I'm going to be talking about the importance of establishing a network with your flight school. Now, for all of you guys, I want to be upfront and I want to let you know that this is a business discussion. I'm not going to give you some training on the best way to perform a maneuver in an airplane or anything. But basically, I want to connect with everybody. Again, Chris Erlanson with Nashville Flight Training. We're based out of Nashville International Airport, and I am vice chairman of FASANA, the Flight School Association of North America. So the context, if you will, of our discussion today, again, I want to just be open and honest with you. I am not an expert on flight training, and I don't consider myself to be. Full disclosure, I've started my instrument training about 3 times, and I'm about to start again. Life gets in the way, kids get in the way, things like that. But my history, my personal history is 23 years in the music business on the business side. Don't ask me to sing. You see, I'm a frustrated guitar player. But today, I'm speaking with you today simply based on the business side of flight training. And I've spoken with a lot of you that are on this presentation today. A lot of you that have participated in migration in the past. And today's discussion is based on some general business truths. And quite frankly, being honest with you, a lot of the things that I've learned from some of you as flight school owners and some of the people that I've interacted with in the past. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give away my whole presentation right here within the first 3 minutes. Okay. So the most important thought of this hour is self-sufficiency breeds inefficiency. Self-sufficiency breeds inefficiency. And what we're going to do is we're going to take some time to go ahead and we're going to unpack that. If you want to, you can stop watching the presentation right now and you'll be up to date. Go take a nap. Go get coffee. No, seriously. This is where we're going today. Self-sufficiency breeds inefficiency. So for those of you who are interested and will go and will hang with me, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about here in just a minute. So here we go. Why are we having this discussion? Why are we talking about self-sufficiency, and what does that have to do with networking and where is this going? What some of you guys are scratching your head, you're confused already, but allow me to give you a little bit of background and bring you up to speed here. So Harvard went and did a study about 2 years ago. It's a pretty recent study, and it's a study of entrepreneurs where they went and talked with all these small business owners, and they're trying to collect information and figure out, what is the psyche behind an entrepreneur and what is the mindset behind guys that own and operate businesses. And they learned something that was really, really important. Entrepreneurs are more at risk of burnout than anyone. I think I just heard an amen from the audience. So here we go. You're a business owner. Let's just be honest with ourselves. You're isolated. You're socially isolated because here you are fully invested as a flight school owner. You are fully invested in your flight school. You're putting all of this work into your flight school. You're going after it. And what people don't realize is that when you're an entrepreneur and when you own your own business, you socially isolate yourself because you're putting all of your effort into the business, and nobody understands the dark side of your passion. Your passion is owning and operating a flight school. Nobody understands that you work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just today, I was talking with another small business owner, and we were talking about the fact that, sometimes as a small business owner, you wake up in the middle of the night and immediately, bam, your brain is thinking about business. So, according to this study that Harvard has done, 25% of you are burned out. 25% of small business owners are burned out. Now, this is from a couple of years ago. So we know that today that number is actually way higher due to all of the stresses that we've walked through with COVID. And guys, what we know is that burnout costs the US economy more than $300 billion a year. More than $300 billion annually is the cost that burnout has to the economy. Now, you're probably sitting there going, okay, well, this has nothing to do with flight schools. Follow me here. Follow me here for just a minute. So here's a question for you. Have you celebrated, you as a business, have you celebrated your 2-year-old birthday yet? You know that most small businesses don't survive more than 2 years. And guys, this definitely includes flight schools. It really does. There's a lot of flight schools that start up and they just boom, flash in the pan. They're gone. And what people begin to realize real quickly is that business is not easy. Again, we're focusing on the business aspect of flight schools right now. So business is not easy. You're dealing with taxes. You're dealing with people. You're dealing with instructors. You're dealing with all of the drama, all the people drama. You're dealing with insurance costs that are going through the roof. You're dealing with maintenance costs. You're dealing with, you as a flight school owner, you've got a considerable amount of stresses that you're dealing with. Business, it's not easy right now. And then to make matters even more difficult, 2020 brings us this wonderful thing called COVID, and more than 20% of small businesses did not survive COVID this spring and summer. Guys, we still don't even have the final numbers. There are some people that are saying the number is beyond 20% of small businesses that didn't survive. So there's a problem. There's a considerable problem that that there is in running a business. It's a very, very stressful thing that people do not realize how hard it is running a flight school. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a little bit of time and we're going to run through 4 points, 4 simple points. And what we want to do on these 4 points is we want to give you some ideas. We want to give you some things to think about. We want to give you some direction as a business owner in running a flight school. And I'm getting to the networking part. So bear with me here. So as a business owner, point number 1, we need to identify the results that you've been getting. So as a business owner, what are your current results? What are your current results as a business owner? Well, you may be able to hold up your P&L and you may be able to go, we're profitable, we're doing great, and our enrollment's up, and we got our students back from COVID, and we're doing good. But here's the deal. You're working like a dog. You're stressed. In many cases, in many points in your business, you're probably frustrated and you're trying to figure all of this out, all of this business stuff. You're trying to figure all this business stuff out by yourself. And this is our 2020 flight school owner. It looks a lot like Ozzy Osbourne, we know. But what is the definition of insanity? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, and you're expecting different outcomes. Guys, it's not easy running a flight school. So again, point number 1, going and identifying the results you've been getting. Let's be honest. It's too much going on. You're burned out and you need help. So some of you are probably looking at this presentation right now, and you're like, "What? Where's he going with this? Where's he going with this?" I talk with a lot of flight schools. I talk with a lot of flight schools. Being on the board of FASANA, I'm constantly calling other flight schools and going, "Hey, what are you guys doing? What's working? What's not working? What are your challenges? Hey, when you deal with this, how do you get through that?" Um, Guys, the deal is that as I talk to other flight schools across the nation, there's too much going on. Flight school owners are burned out and they need help. So going back to our point, we've got to identify and we've got to acknowledge that there's a problem. No, this isn't Alcoholics Anonymous, but there's something to this. And I want to start here. Going back to our big point of the presentation, self-sufficiency breeds inefficiency. Guys, you need help. You need help. You need a network. And if you recognize that you're bleeding and you see the cut and you see that there's blood coming out, then I've got a bleeding issue, right? And you go and you take medical attention and take care of it. Guys, the same thing's going on here in business, here with flight schools. You're burned out, you're doing too much, and you need help. So let's start talking through some solutions, because this is the good stuff here. So um, point number two. I want you to go and I want you to think about this. You need to find some good partners in your business. You need to find some good partners. You need to find people that can be there and can help you and help guide you and help you as you take care of your business. So let's talk about partners here for just a second, and specifically vendors. So my rule at my office is I need to have 5 phone numbers. 5 phone numbers. And when it comes to vendors, my 5 phone numbers, do they answer the phone? Do they ship the products right away? Are they taking care of me? And like let's just pick on something easy. Airplane parts, okay? Do you have 5 vendors, 5 phone calls that you can make when it comes time to find an airplane part? Okay, that sounds simple, but let me tell you, here recently, it's getting it's getting difficult to find airplane parts sometimes, right? You call and, oh, we're out of stock, and, oh, things are messed up. It's backlogged in China. We don't have it. Things like that. So, for me personally, I've got my guys that I call, Aircraft Spruce or Air Power, or my buddies at Boeing, even White Industries, new parts, used parts, whatever. You need to stop and recognize you need to just have 5 phone numbers, and here are the 5 guys that we can call, and they will be able to take care of me from a vendor standpoint, right? Continuing with regards to partners, you need to have some associations that you're part of. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remind you, I'm vice president of FASANA. So, FASANA is definitely an organization that we love talking about, and we love seeing the results that it as it goes and helps flight schools. A phone call away. You got Bob Rockmaker, our founder and president. It's a great way to connect with other flight schools. And all the time I'm calling and I'm going, hey, what did they do? What did they do? And we go to the conference that they have every year. And let me tell you, I know a good idea when I steal one. I know a good idea when I steal one. And I don't mind stealing ideas from other flight schools, because that way I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I'm learning from other folks. AOPA is a great resource for all of aviation in general. Of course, their legal services is a valuable service that they provide. Keith West and the team there, They're partnering with flight schools, and he's doing a lot of educational stuff. It's a valuable resource. And then EAA, of course, great from the mechanical perspective. Some of those guys are absolute experts, and these three associations are really important parts of your network. I just want to remind you, don't forget about these guys. Let's talk about some other partners that that you need. So we talked about aviation partners, which is important, but how about partners in business? Again, this gets controversial because some people are like, well, they don't know about my business. Well, that very well could be true, but you need to have connections both in and out of business, in and out of the industry, to help guide you throughout the joys, the pains, the frustrations of running a business. Let's take a look real quick at some of those organizations that are really important. SCORE. Don't know if some of you may be familiar with SCORE. It's through your Small Business Administration. Vistage, C12, all of these different state small business development centers. There are consultants out there. There are retirees out there. Guys, as you build your network, you need to have advisors that are about business, not just airplanes, but business, because somebody has got to guide you through how do we do the tax stuff. Somebody's got to guide you through how do we work through the HR side. Somebody's got to guide you through all of these different aspects of business that you may not be familiar with. But again, we know good ideas when we steal them. We know good ideas when we're able to connect up with people who can come in and advise you and help you out. So, another really important part of our network is, of course, the employees and the volunteers um, that work at our place. So, for some of you, you may watch this and you may go, that's nice, and my flight school's not big enough, and I don't need all of these extra people running around. Guys, going back to one of our first slides, self-sufficiency breeds inefficiency. If you want to grow your business, you've got to figure out a way to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you are. Surround yourself with people who have experiences that you don't have. Surround yourself with people who don't have the gifts that you have. As I talk to different flight schools and hear about, yeah, oh man, I'm so busy because I'm doing this, and this. Wow, how in the world are you living? So look for partners, look for people that can be part of what you're doing. Are you taking care of your own books? Are you taking care of your own accounting? If you are, oh man, oh that give that to somebody else, offload that to somebody else, delegate that out. Are you answering the phone all the time? I'll never forget. I talked to a flight school owner a couple of years ago. Not only was he the chief CEO, the chief CEO, the CEO of the company, and the chief flight instructor, but he was also the A&P. He was also the guy that did the sales pitch to the customers, and he answered the phone, and he took care of all the social media. Man, that guy was burned to a crisp. He was just burned out all the time. So, get some help in the office. Is somebody answering the phone? Or are you trying to do it all by yourself? Is somebody helping you with the website and social media? Or are you trying to do it all by yourself? People want to be part of what you're doing. You would actually be surprised. People want to be part of the airport environment. And, I want to give you some more ideas on that. So, how about you go and work out a barter? I know there's a lot of you that are like, well, I don't have the money to bring on people. Okay, that's all right. How about a barter? You know, um, we see it all the time. Retirees out there. We got one guy that he would show up and all he'd do is sit around and drink my coffee, which was fine. But he was just full of wisdom and full of advice when it came to assisting our flight instructors and just pouring into people. Here he was a retiree. He had all the time in the world, and he wanted an outlet, and we became a great outlet for him. How about high school interns? We every year we have half a dozen high school kids that are like, "Hey, can I come wash airplanes at your flight school?" Bring them in, get them in the door, let them wash airplanes, let them be around what you're doing. Every once in a while, they're going to be standing around, they're going to hear something, they're going to learn something. That's a great thing. It's a great thing to have them come and volunteer and be part of the environment of your flight school. So here's one that is quite often forgot. Stay at home moms. I know some of you are looking at this going, what? What does stay at home moms have to do with my network? Guys, there are there are mothers at home that are looking for just little projects to do, and they love aviation, and you can go and barter with them. We had one that helped us out a while back with cleaning up some of our accounting stuff. We had one mom who she ordered parts for us from her house. We pick up the phone and go, "Hey, I need an ABC 123," and she go, "Okay, I'm going to go find it for you." And she would get on the phone and call all these places while her baby was taking a nap. Turned out to be great. Turned out to be great for us. So, again, this is part of building your network. This is part of helping put together this ecosystem that we call business. Because again, you can't do it all. You can't do everything by yourself. No matter no matter what you think, you really can't. And you've got to network your way around, and you've got to bring in more members of the team in order for your flight school to be a success. So now let me get a little bit more personal. This is gonna make some of you squirm in your seats, as you're listening to this. But I have a question. This is point number 3. I have a question to ask you. Who is taking care of you? Who is taking care of you as the flight school owner? Again, we've talked about you're doing too much, you're burned out, you need help. Now, for some of you, you may go, "Oh, okay, I'm doing fine. I got it together." Okay. Quite frankly, some of you may have already logged out of this video, and that's okay. But for those of you who are still here, I have to ask a very direct, very serious question. Who is taking care of you? Again, because you're burned out, and you may not have built yourself up a network of people and resources, and you know because of that, this goes back to that Harvard study. This is where the concern is. But let me ask, when was the last time you took a day off? When was the last time you just simply closed your offices? I know of flight schools that, they're open 365 days a year. That's great. And I'm sure from a profit standpoint, it looks really good on the bank statement. But I'm talking about your personal collateral, those your life. You got to have a day off every once in a while. When was the last time you slept all night? And then when was the last time you turned your cell phone off? If your cell phone, I'm going to say this, and I'm preaching to myself as much as I'm preaching to the camera here, and talking to you guys. But if your cell phone is a leash, then you have problems with your organization. If your cell phone is a leash, you got problems with your organization. You got to delegate. You need to utilize your network of folks. And for some of you right now, you may be looking at your cell phone going, gosh, man, this thing has got control of me. Well, the best way to let that cell phone unleash you is to start delegating and to start letting other people pick up some of these tasks, some of these business tasks that are happening in your flight schools. So, if you're going to make it, you've got to delegate. You got to delegate, and you need to utilize this network of folks that you set up around yourself. So, all right, let's go to point number 4 here. Hang with me. Point number 4 is the last point of this presentation. So we're nearing the end. I'm going to end a little early today, but uh, going back to point 1, we've got to identify the results we've been getting, and some of you still think you're fine. If so, that's great. Some of you are looking at yourselves and looking at your flight school, and you think that you're Aussie right now. That's okay. That's okay. So let's talk about recalibrating expectations. Recalibrating expectations. This is all part of the networking discussion here. So you don't have to do everything. You don't have to do everything. So, I've read some business coaches say, sit down every day and write out a list of all of the things that you're going to get done today. Okay. So my list, usually when I sit down and write out my list, there's about 25 things on that list. Here's all the things I'm going to get done today. Okay. Expect to get 2 of them done. Expect to get 2 things done with, with your list of things to do. Now, some of you are going, well, what kind of business is that? Why am I only getting 2 things done? When I've put 50 things on my list. Okay. Well, the answer to that is, what do you do with all the other things on your list? You got to figure out a way to delegate those things out. You've got to figure out how to utilize your network. You've got to figure out how to get people stepped up and helping you and helping your organization move forward. So delegate. I want to hit something else here, and this is going to upset some of you. Okay. Give yourself permission to fail. Give yourself permission to fail. I want to stop you right now. I'm not talking about failing in aviation. Of course, we're very serious about safety. We're very serious about making sure that everyone is safe. I'm not giving you permission to fail in aviation. I'm giving you permission to fail in business. In business, you know what? Sometimes things happen. Sometimes you write down the wrong part number. We did that last week, and it cost us about $1,700 because somebody wrote down the wrong part number. Does it happen? Yes, it happens. But when it happens, what do? You take a step back and you ask the question, what did we just learn? We just learned that we need to double check our part numbers before we order parts. We need to recalibrate ourselves. Was it an expensive lesson? Yes, of course. Or, what about those moments where you go and you hire the wrong person? Whew. I think all of us somewhere in life, we have a story of when we went and we hired the wrong person. You know what? We failed there. Or that time where we printed out 10,000 brochures and we put the wrong price on the brochure, right? Let's be honest with ourselves. Things happen in business. And when they do you know what you do? You just look at it and you say, what did I learn? What did I learn? You chalk it up. Let me hit you up on something else here. And this is a really, really hard thing to say. Nobody wrote a manual for COVID. You've got to recalibrate your expectations right now. You got to redo your budgets. You got to rethink everything about your business. Guys, COVID has hit us hard. It's hit all of us hard. And every one of us right now in the flight training industry, we're looking for answers. Okay, where are things going? And where are my students going? And where are the airlines going? And what about cargo? And what, how can I utilize the sim more, and how can I keep my costs down? And okay, there's a lot. There's a lot going on, and we all need to stop and say, guess what? Nobody has all the answers. Really, nobody still has all the answers. Here we are months down the road. It's okay, guys. Just utilize your team, utilize your network, and figure out a way to get through it. So, another point. Oh, and this is a hard one here. This is a really, really hard one. You've got to place more expectations on your team. Place more expectations on your team. And I'm talking about your internal team. I'm talking about your vendors. I'm talking about the associations you work with. You've got to figure out how to give them a little bit more control and a little bit more leash to help your business succeed. If you want people to do a good job, guys, sometimes you just got to let them do a good job. Sometimes you just got to let them. And let me encourage you to go ahead and challenge your team. And quite frankly, you'll be surprised. Challenge your team, and you'll be surprised at the way that your team will step up and will make things happen. If they've caught on to the vision of what you're trying to do as a flight school, your team will be there. So again, recapping the most important thought of the hour is self-sufficiency breeds inefficiency. Self-sufficiency breeds inefficiency. So what do you do? What do you do? Going back through our points, right? Network with your vendors. Network through the associations that you're part of. Surround yourself with some advisors. Surround yourself with great employees. You need a team around you. When it comes to flight training, the guys that are flourishing, the flight schools that are flourishing and really, really moving forward are those who have an awesome team or an awesome network around them. And you need the network of people to make your flight school work. You need it. You need it. Again, just to kind of bring it to a close here. And as a reminder, self-sufficiency, it breeds inefficiency. So the question is, do you agree? Do you disagree? Have I made you mad? Let me know what you think. Quite frankly and quite selfishly, I want to be or I want you to be part of my network of advisors. I know that there's something that I can learn from you. And I know that, you may have a business practice that I'm not aware of. Please give me some feedback. Here's my email address. It's real easy. Chris, CHRIS at NashvilleFlightTraining.com. Yes, it's long. Chris at NashvilleFlightTraining.com. Send me an email. I would love to hear your feedback. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please, let's figure out a way that you and I can work together in the future. So just to bring this to a close, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope that you have an awesome Redbird migration.